And now, RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show.
Good evening and welcome to RSM, Rams Sports Magazine Show. I'm your host, Anthony Keith. This past weekend was homecoming and a rough one at that, as the Rams lost to the Spartans 38-31. However, it was perfect timing for a bye week, so they're going to take this week to rest up and prepare for Boise State on October 15th. I want to recap that Spartans-Rams game to start things off on the show.
Well, it's certainly a disappointing outcome, but when you turn the ball over 3 times like we did, you're going to let anybody in the game, and obviously we dug ourselves a huge hole right off the bat at 24-7. Seemed like we had a hard time getting them out of there. They started to get some momentum, and then when we started to play and come back, it probably in hindsight it's a little too late. So we got back to 31-31. We had a chance with a drive, really good field position. We couldn't punch it in or get any points out of it, and they got one more shot. They drove down and scored. So congratulations to their staff and their players. They deserve to win.
So when you look back on most, after you get it tied at 31, you had 2 drives to start inside their 50 and 3 outs.
Yeah, there's no question we had plenty of opportunities, and we had started to move the ball a little bit, but again, we turned it over and we didn't run it as effectively as we needed to, and when you do that, you run the risk of struggling offensively, and we certainly did in those 2 drives.
That was head coach Steve Fairchild after the 38-31 homecoming loss against San Jose State, a game in which the Rams never led. But a loss doesn't mean a lack of highlights for the 3-2 Rams. Here's a look back at all the scoring plays CSU had. The Rammies down 10-0. Pete Thomas completes a pass to Lou Greenwood for 41 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter. Despite the loss, Thomas utilized the passing game against the Spartans. On 4th down and a few yards, the Rams down 10-7 decide to go for it. In hindsight, a costly error that swung the momentum in favor of the Spartans. SJSU was forced to punt, but at the start of CSU's offensive series, a rarity happened. Running back Raymond Carter fumbled, putting SJSU up 17-7. Soon after, it was 24-7. The Rams were down by 17. Still the first half, Thomas finds Greenwood again as they begin to fill in the 17-point hole they dug. A 24-yard reception, 24-14. In the second half, Bendeline chipped in with a field goal after missing one in the first half. We got it at 24-17 Spartans. The WAC opponent would get another TD, Rams back in a 14-point deficit. But Thomas wasn't ready to lay down and quit. This time he finds Thomas Kaufman for 47 yards, 31-24, CSU only down by 1 score. Thomas decided he would take things into his own hands. An Elway-like dive into the end zone. If style points existed in football, the Rams would have claimed victory. Tie game as we near the end. A few opportunities to take the lead, but the Rams couldn't capitalize. The Spartans sealed the deal with one last big play at the end for a touchdown and picked off Thomas's Hail Mary. Final score, 38-31.
Thomas's pass intercepted at the 10-yard line.
Yep, it comes down to execution. We didn't execute, and obviously that falls on my shoulders as a quarterback.
What was different today that allowed the deep passing game to be so effective?
We've been working on it. We felt like that was something we could attack on them. But like I said, we had a few more plays in the passing game to make, and I didn't do it.
When you guys were down 10-0 at the very beginning of the game, were you like, oh God, what happened here?
No,
where were you at?
we knew they were going to come out hot. They're a lot better than their 1-3 record says. They played some pretty solid teams, and we just didn't come out with a fire and that edge that we need to, and it obviously falls on players' shoulders.
I just knew we just came out sluggish for some reason. I don't know why we came out like that, but I guess we could have underestimated them, but we just came out real sluggish that game, this game. But we finally got to pick it up towards the end of the game, but we let go again at the end.
Needed to make more plays to win that game.
Surprising that you guys were able to do all the things you wanted as far as getting the ball deep, spreading the defense, and yet the run game never did transpire.
You know, I really don't know what went on there. There was just a lot of people getting tackled early, and there's nothing we can do. Right. Well, that's been our problem is starting a little slow sometimes, but this team can beat anybody when we're together, and we were 100% confident that we could come back and win that game when we were down 24-7. It's just we needed a little bit more in the end.
Going forward, can't overlook anyone. That's the main thing. I'm not saying we did overlook him, but I don't think we came out with that edge that we need to in order to win games. I mean, it's hard to win a game in Division I college football, and we proved that today that we didn't step up to the plate and make the right plays.
Well, I think when we start talking about believing in each other, that's not the outcome. That's believing you can get yourself back in from 24-7 to 31-31. So, I think those kids do believe in themselves.
The Rams football team moves to 3-2 on the season, so they've still got a winning record as they enter this bye week preparing for Boise State. As for the volleyball team, they are currently a perfect 4-0 in conference play and will take a break from the Mountain West to play Seattle. So coming up after the break, I spoke to junior libero Izzy Gallia. Stay tuned.
You're watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
The volleyball team continues to dominate in conference play as they are a perfect 4-0. So earlier this week, I had to talk to junior libero Izzy Gallia. Welcome back to Rams Sports Magazine Show. This week from the volleyball team, I'm joined by Izzy Gallia from the volleyball team. Now, you're a defensive specialist last season. You've transferred over to that libero position. The team is doing great in conference play. You guys are undefeated. What does that mean, 4-0, to start this conference out?
It's definitely awesome, especially the last two road matches, because road matches are not always easy, and those two matches were not very easy. So it was a great thing that we did, that we were able to win those two road matches.
Doing so well on the road, were you expecting that season with the loss of players like Danielle Minch, Jackie Davison, and Evan Sanders? Were you expecting this kind of success?
I always knew that we had that success, but it's definitely been harder to get there because we are so young, but we're very talented.
And now you're going to take a little bit of a break from conference this week with Seattle. Is that nice, having a break from conference play after going, because there's a lot more pressure on those conference games, right?
Right. I mean, I take every game as, as just as important as the last one or the next one. So I want to beat them just as much as I would any conference team,
And what are you worried about with this Seattle team tomorrow night? What are you guys doing to prepare differently than you do with other teams?
Nothing different. We're going about it the same way that we do any other team. We scout them, there's film on them, and obviously we do scout team and practice too. So going about it the same way.
One big difference with conference this year, they're bringing back the conference tournament, and it's in New Mexico. How do you feel about that?
The conference tournament is tough because, you can do well all throughout the season, and go into the tournament and not do well. So that kind of makes me upset because, you could lose the tournament after doing so well. Or you could go the other way, not do well and then win the tournament. So it's kind of iffy. And
especially,
New Mexico, that's going to be tough. It's a tough place to play in, definitely.
Who do you feel is the toughest competition in conference? I mean, TCU is undefeated. New Mexico, I believe, is 3-1 right now. Who is that other conference foe that you guys are really gunning against?
Definitely New Mexico and TCU. That's going to be a big week for us when we play them, because I think we played New Mexico and then TCU.
Yeah.
So those are two definitely teams that we have to beat. But I think every team in the conference is getting better and better each year. So, everyone's tough to play, especially in their home court.
Very true. One of those opponents, Wyoming, you've got this week, right across the border. What's the rivalry like with that regional opponent?
You definitely know it's there. In there, they want to beat us really badly. And going there, it's also a very tough place to play, I think. They get riled up to play us every time. So,
your position, in my opinion, one of the more athletic ones, a lot of digs out there on the court, so we see you flying around all over the place. Right now you're 4th in the Mountain West with digs, averaging about 4.4 each set. You know, kind of walk me through your specific job on this team.
Well, first, obviously, starts with the pass. You know, you have to be a good passer to be a libero. And then, obviously, you have to make those, you know, make digs and make defensive moves. And I think as a libero, you need to be a vocal person out there. I think that's a big part of it.
So do you consider yourself a vocal leader on this team?
I would say so, yes.
Definitely. Another thing, tomorrow night, it's Dig Pink Night. You guys are supporting the awareness of breast cancer. What does that mean to you as a player? Kind of playing for a cause out there, getting the fans into it and, you know, showing your support for a specific cause.
I love doing that each year. I mean, I think it's like a really cool thing that we do, you know. I know there's people in our team that have had actually like people that have had breast cancer, so I think that's really cool. I mean, you know, they're
have been fighting through it, and everybody's got a connection to that. That's why it's so rough, and it's great that you guys are supporting a cause like that. Another big thing, jumping back on you as a team, you guys slid in the ratings again from 21 to 23. I know it doesn't matter to you guys too much, but you start the season out at number 15 with losing so many seniors, and then you're 4-0 in conference play and you slide in the ratings. Who does this stuff?
I know when Dan actually texted me like on Monday, and I couldn't believe it. But I mean, I guess there's, you know, more like bigger wins out there, and that's the reason why, you know, we moved down. We won, but other people won to better
bigger
teams.
Yeah, it's
bigger, better teams, you know?
Flawed system, if you ask me. I'm not saying that for the record. That's just, you know, you guys did beat Nebraska, but whatever.
Yeah, it's tough because I thought at least we'd move up one spot, but I guess not.
You're a team that normally doesn't care too much about the rankings, but again, with that tournament being in place this season, that ranking could be a factor if you guys don't just claim the tournament in getting into postseason play. Does that put the pressure on?
I mean, yeah, obviously. We just got to keep, you know, beating people, you know, and hopefully moving up into the rankings.
Keep doing what you guys are doing. You're 10-3. Keep it up. Well, Izzy, I want to wish you best of luck against Seattle, against Wyoming this Saturday. Now that you've heard from Izzy, coming up after the break, I speak to the lone senior of the team, Caitlin Steffen, who was also awarded as Co-Mountain West Conference Player of the Week. Stay tuned.
You're watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
Welcome back to the show, Rams fans. The volleyball team is still undefeated in conference play, and that is thanks to senior outside hitter Caitlin Steffen, who was forced to step in a new role with the loss of Jackie Davison and Danielle Minch. Here's what the Mountain West Conference Co-Player of the Week had to say. And that's the first big thing, Caitlin. Yeah. What kind of an honor is that? I mean, you haven't received this award since freshman year.
Exactly. I mean, it's big. I've been working hard all season trying to get into this outside hitter role that, you know, is a, you know, first kind of new thing for me this year, and so
it's a big role to fill after the loss of Danielle Minch, Jackie Davison.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
You've obviously done a good job of filling that hole. You guys are 10-3, undefeated in conference. I mean, how is the season going?
It's going very well. A lot better than I think a lot of people expected. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a rebuilding year. And I think we're coming out and proving that it's not, and that we are here to work hard and win games still.
That's one thing. At the beginning of the season, Coach Hilbert was even saying number 15 in the country. You guys were saying, well, you know, we gotta live up to that. Well, you guys have obviously lived up to that, but you slipped from 21 to 23 in the rankings after 4 straight wins. I mean, how'd you feel when you found out about that?
I don't know if I was necessarily disappointed or anything. I mean, other teams are, you know, beating bigger teams, and we don't have a whole lot of teams in our conference that have high RPIs or anything like that. So it's understandable. It happens every year. So.
That's an incredibly intelligent answer. Most people are like, you know, it is what it is. But last week was a huge one for you. You had recorded 28 kills against UNLV, which beats your career best. And even Coach said we couldn't have done it without Kate. I mean, she's the reason we won that match. How'd that match go?
It was rough. I don't think we should have went 5 games. We should have beat them in that 4th game. We slipped up. We didn't play good in the end game, and we need to do better. But we came out with a win, so that's all that matters.
And then throughout the week, you totaled 46 kills. What have you been eating for breakfast lately? I mean, how are you pulling this off?
I don't know. I just I'm really trying to find a rhythm as an outside hitter, and I think it took me a long time to find a rhythm as a right side hitter. I mean, 3 years, and I still wasn't all the way comfortable. And I mean, outside, I know that you're a go-to player all the time, whether you like it or not. And so I had to find that rhythm fast. And
you had to work with somebody who's new to that position, the setter position, Deidre.
Yeah.
I mean, how's the hitter-setter relationship been going?
She's doing awesome. She's surprising me. She's leaves us speechless a lot of times. I mean, she's getting great balls to every single hitter every single night, and just even distribution. She's getting balls out to areas where we have a lot of shot opportunities, and it's really good seeing it from her. She has a huge career ahead of her.
There was so much worry when Evan left the team, you know, and then at the beginning of the season it was a setter battle. At the beginning of the season, did you see Deidre as, yeah, she's the go-to, or was it really that dead even?
I think it was pretty even. She had areas where she was better, as in out-of-system balls and stuff like that, but I mean, Katie pushed her every single day. But I mean, the first 2 weeks of season, I don't think anyone had a spot. I mean, maybe Megan Plord and Breon Page, but I mean, other than that, everyone is constant battle in practice.
That's a good thing. Competition breeds champions, plain and simple. This past Sunday, you guys had a game that was nationally televised. I mean, for volleyball, you don't see it as often as you'd like, but what does that mean to the team, getting that kind of exposure?
I mean, like you said, it doesn't happen in volleyball. So when it does, it's just such an adrenaline rush and so exciting. And I mean, even though we were playing on someone else's home court, I mean, we came out ready to play that day. And getting a huge road win was good for our team.
And a conference win. Again, you guys are undefeated. There's a lot of pressure on the conference games, although there is the whole Mountain West Conference tournament this year. How do you feel about that tournament?
Just another thing we have to do, I think. Just another thing that we have to get into and focus at and try to come out on top.
You're the lone senior on the team. You are also the team captain, so you've taken on a big leadership role this season. But tell me, what are the biggest differences this year compared to all prior with this team?
I think there is a harder work ethic with this team. I think in the past years, roles have been pretty set. Everyone kind of knew that they were going to play the position that they were, and this year has just been competitive all out. I mean, in practice today, we went through a lineup with 3 different outside hitters and 2 different right side hitters. I mean, so it's just kind of, I don't know, it's a battle every day. It makes
you guys never
hard.
get a break, but
exactly.
you do get a break from conference play this week with Seattle. It's an independent team. How do you like that, getting kind of a break in between the conference battles? Does that take a little bit of the pressure off?
Yeah, and it gets you out of that comfortability that you have when you're playing conference matches, because you know other teams' personnel, you know who their go-to players are, and I mean, this team is big. They just beat Boise State on their home court, and they run a fast offense like Wichita State, who beat us earlier in the year, so it's going to pose some problems.
So, I mean, definitely can't overlook any team, no matter what your record is and how well you're doing.
Exactly.
But their record is not the best. They did just beat Boise, but does that give you any bit of confidence knowing, you know, they're not the best team out there?
I don't think so. I think them beating a team that pushed us to our limits a little bit is definitely...
That says enough right there.
Yeah.
Well, looking past that match, you've got the Wyoming game this Saturday. What does that rivalry mean to you? I mean, they're right across the border.
Border war. I mean, it's big every single year. You know, we know their players, and there's a lot of trash talking through the net. I mean, it's a dirtier game, but it's fun, and whoever comes out on top at the end of the night is pretty proud of themselves.
What has social networking done to this sport? You know, you got Twitter, you've got Facebook. You can kind of check in on the other players if you want. I mean, has that really affected you guys as college athletes?
Personally speaking, it doesn't affect me. I'm not in on the whole Twitter thing, and I use
Smart
Facebook
move.
for family stuff, but if some of the other girls want to take that approach, they can, but I'm not really sure what to even say about that.
You're a smart one. All the analysts say, don't get on the Twitter, don't get on the Facebook.
We use social network more for promoting our games and stuff like that.
That's a good thing. Talking about promoting the games, the whole the billboard kind of thing with you guys getting out, get up on your feet. When that comes on, do you guys kind of hear that while you're playing, and does that pump you guys up?
We hear it. The only time I ever hear it is like timeouts, coming back out on the court from timeouts, stuff like that. Otherwise, I'm pretty in the zone, pretty ready to go.
Got to be in the zone.
Yep.
Touching back on that Seattle match again, tomorrow it's Dig Pink Night. You guys are showing your support for the awareness of breast cancer. What does that mean to you as a player, being out on the court, playing for a cause essentially?
Yeah, I think it just gives you an extra something to play for. I think every player has something that they play for, something in the back of their mind, whether it's their family or for themselves or something like that, but I think it just gives you a little extra drive.
I'm talking about you've got something to play for. You in high school, all-around athlete, and you know you were saying to me that you came here, basketball, track, volleyball, so on and so forth. What's that been like, choosing volleyball, going this route, and having such success with this team?
Wow, very broad question. But
I'm a broad kind of guy.
I love that I picked volleyball. I think everything happens for a reason, and I think it was probably my best choice at the time. And I may not have known it then, but hindsight 2020, I'm glad I chose volleyball.
So Holt never tries to grab you in the halls and say, hey, you know,
no.
Forget volleyball this season, maybe go this route.
No, she's got good players. She has already.
That's awesome. Well, I want to wish you the best of luck with this little break from conference play, and then the volleyball team hopes to stay undefeated in conference play for the rest of the season. As for the football team, it may be their bye week, but they are still getting work done out on the practice fields. So coming up after the break, I check in with the team and how their bye week is going.
You are watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
Welcome back to Rams Sports Magazine Show. I'm going to take us from the hardwood to the field as we check in with the football team on their bye week.
I mean, you know, Coach tell us, you know, nothing's going to be given to us. But, I mean, you know, we work just like they work. You know, they came out, they made the bigger play. They made one more play than we made, so they deserve to win.
And what was the attitude in the locker room afterwards?
Man, you know, we down that we lost this game. You know, we beat ourselves. Good team, though, and you know, we just got to pick it up on this bye week and just come back against Boise strong.
You guys were down by 17 at one point, but you caught back up. What does that mean for the team, knowing that you can be in a hole like that, but then come back?
I mean, you know, it's just keep pressing on, keep going. You know, our theme is believe, and you know, we just tried to keep going, keep pressing on. You know, we made a comeback last week. You know, we knew we was capable of doing it. You know, it's just we fell short this time.
Is this the perfect time for a bye then?
Yeah, I think so. You know, just to go back out, you know, regroup. You know, like Coach said, you know, you go on stretch, and then you know you might have a speed bump. You know, great time, you know, to just go back, regroup, come back, and play a great Boise team.
So that'll do it this week for RSM, but tune in next week as I check in some more with the football team as they prepare for the big game against Boise State. Catch you next week.